Hi, and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto Podcast. My name's Chris, and I am joined by none other than JB. How are you, JB?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, everything is hunky-dory here, mate. Nice chilled out couple of days here. Obviously, we had the FOMC minutes yesterday, which was unbelievably underwhelming. The fact we've seen more, what would you call it, more price action came off the back of the CPI data, which again, for me, was quite underwhelming. Yeah, I was quite disappointed with the way the markets worked out yesterday, everything going over in America. Obviously, previously, we've seen these be high volatility days. And, it kind of traded sideways most of the day. It wasn't most exciting of times. We were anticipating a more fun period. So obviously we had the channel in Discord yesterday. It was absolutely booming. Many folk in there. So we do plan on doing these more regularly. I think it's going to work very well. It's great for everybody getting in there, having a little chat about everything going on. So yeah, going forward, I do expect these to be a lot better. America need to pull their finger out of their arses and make this good for us.
They definitely do. I think I'm still expecting the market to be volatile. We've recently sort of been discussing sort of like the performance of the channel, and how we obviously called out the lows in May, sharing the purchases that were made. And for those of you that aren't aware, perhaps aren't Patreon members or in the Discord, we log down all of our buys, our sells, our staking, like all of the movements that Nick and myself make in the space. So I shared some of those throughout like June, the next pullback, which we also called, which was in November. I think the lowest I bought was around 15,800 according to the logs for BTC. So I see a few comments from people that perhaps haven't been watching closely enough or misunderstand what's being communicated on say some of the videos, that we're just upset that we missed the bottom. No, we're actually been very accurate through this whole entire bear market, right? Calling each and every bottom so far very accurately, and purchasing Bitcoin at almost half the price it is today. So yeah, I wanted to share some of that stuff, sort of remove some of the nonsense from the comments of some of the videos. It gets very toxic at points.
I like it to an extent though, because now hear me out with this one. I know it sounds very odd to say that. When folks start to get toxic, it's fear. It means that they are uncertain of what they're doing, and to an extent, it kind of validates what we feel, our narrative. I'm not deviating from our narrative, and I've said it many times that target 10K is still where I am. Obviously, I can see it going lower, but I've phrased it as target 10K. I do see a major pullback coming for Bitcoin. We've obviously had the upgrades in Discord with the new trader elite tier, the channel in the traders tier, sorry, where we obviously document some of the shorts we're forecasting. Obviously, the monster short for Ethereum's in there. That activated earlier on today. Still, it's moved up a little bit, but, it's fine. We've documented how this is going to structure, moving it way down. The Bitcoin short came out today. I think that's maybe well underway as well. So, the narrative right now in the space is so uncertain that I think you're going to find many bulls start to question yourself very soon, the way everything is happening. Obviously, all the news came out about Ethereum with the Shanghai upgrade, all the locked staked Ethereum that's going to come back to surface. Yeah, I'll stick to our guns here. I'm definitely sticking to my guns. It's not a bull market. We're definitely in a bear market rally. That we're going to see lower lows, and I know folk in the comments are going to hate that, but I'm afraid it's just the way I see the market. We're going to see lower lows.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, right, to stick to what you believe and not be swayed by others. I talk about this an awful lot. The fact that if you read something enough, you are told something enough, that it becomes the truth, even though it isn't. And we've seen this, we've experienced this. What we're experiencing now is, in my opinion, a bear market rally, which we were saying to expect bear market rallies at the end of last year. And that is very much what's been delivered here. And it's been compounded by the traditional banking sector and fears there, where people are basically realizing that, fiat is a big Ponzi scheme and the banking sector is far worse and, is unsafe in comparison to, perhaps some other opportunities out there and other financial instruments. And I think, this stuff's really compounded the situation. The timing's been impeccable for Bitcoin. And I do see, and listen to other people's narratives around, Bitcoin was made for this. Like, it was made for it, JB. But I always come back with, an answer to combat that, and that is timing. And the infrastructure isn't really in place for the type of mass adoption that is required for, let's say, the $1 million bet that's going on between the former CTO of Coinbase and somebody else on Twitter. Like, that's, for me, is going to be an epic, egg on the face moment for that individual. And maybe this is the reason why he's no longer the CTO of Coinbase. Maybe he's lost his mind. It's just not going to happen. Do I think that it will get there eventually? Yes, but it's all about timing. It's all about time horizon. It's all about risk management. And this is what we've kind of been saying on the channel for some time. We expected bear market rallies. We got that. It's doubled in price, more than doubled in price. And, we're sat here in some juicy profit right now. If you look at the buys that we made, the sells that we've made, I mean, I sold all of my ADA on the 31st of May. When I was also saying that perhaps it wasn't a good time to be purchasing crypto. And then we saw the low, which we were calling out in June. I think it was the 18th of June. I made 30% additional ADA on that swing trade. I don't think there's any other channel that's been as transparent as we have and as accurate as we have been in this bear market. And I feel strongly and passionate about that. But just circling back to where we are now, the macro landscape is still not good. If you actually look at stocks and cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, they're very correlated. And yes, they move apart and decouple from time to time, but they're still fairly closely correlated. The moves for stocks are far bigger than Bitcoin, don't get me wrong. But if you look at stocks and you look at recessions and stuff in the past, and I've plotted this out and shared a chart. You see the Fed pivot each time. You see a big pullback for stocks. So I anticipate a big pullback for crypto. I think that's going to be the mechanism that causes this one. It won't be what people articulate as a black swan event. Just remember, a lot of people that are in this space weren't about in these last recessions. Not, when I say not about, they weren't of perhaps an age, or they weren't about, one of the two, to really take any notice or any real understanding of what was happening at the time. So that they're treating this as if it's a black swan. Same with FTX. I mean, it wasn't a black swan. We noticed it beforehand. We highlighted it before. C. I'm just going to say it's just my accent. I am saying it correctly. But we highlighted it, so it couldn't have possibly been a black swan event if people were highlighting it before it happened. And again, we're just going to highlight when that Fed pivot happens. I expect the pullback. It's either going to retest the lower lows, or it's going to set a new lower low. What I am not saying is that people should not be in crypto and should not be purchasing it. I don't think those words have ever come out of my mouth. What I am saying is I'm continuing to dollar cost average in the space, and reaping the benefits when the markets do pull back.
Yeah, definitely dollar cost average, and I think is the best approach to an extent. Obviously, this again is documented in the Discord. I've also kind of started drip feeding my DCA buys into the Discord as well. So as Chris mentioned, I think transparency is key in this space. We are fully transparent, so why not document when I'm also doing my DCAs? But when you were talking there about the Fed and the recession and everything that's going on, from the FOMC yesterday, from the minutes meeting, we did obviously kind of take from that they do expect a mild recession later in this year. So for me, it does appear that this is obviously going to be dragged out much further than we did anticipate, and that this bear market could indeed drag out a lot further than any of us thought. It's good and bad. That depends which way you would like to look at it. It gives you more time to accumulate, more time for obviously the price to drop, and to build up the bags that you're investing here. So there's two ways to look at this. It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, I really don't think that any of this stuff has been bad. If you've been paying like close attention, you avoided the vast majority of collapses in this space, bar one or two, which were the earlier ones that really sort of opened my eyes a little bit wider. I got personally caught out with Celsius, but after Celsius, like I guess it's okay to make mistakes in this space, and I think that the vast majority of people will make mistakes in this space. But the biggest thing to highlight is the learnings that are made, right? Like I truly believe that you shouldn't make the same mistake twice, and that's the main reason why I think we caught FTX. It's the main reason why we were one of the first, if not the first, to highlight BlockFi and various others. Was pretty much from making one mistake. But with that, I had good risk management, so I didn't lose like my entire portfolio. Like you see many people talking about losing their full life savings because they had it all on, say, FTX, or all on Celsius, or all on BlockFi, for example. So I think learnings are always made, but this is a moving target, a market that various different fundamental changes can impact. And back in 2022, after we saw the latest lower low in November, people were asking me what my prediction was for the next low, and I was saying May, June, and I haven't deviated away from that in the slightest. But what I would say is the Fed did kind of delay things a little bit with a 0.25 when it should have been a 0.5 based on my analysis through that period. So could it be later? I think yes, it could, but I think I'm still going to leave my my lower low prediction from last year in sort of May, June time. And potentially that moves out, but we need to kind of see what happens over the next few weeks and months. To be honest, I think it's a moving target, and people need to understand that this isn't an easy thing to do, right? Like there's many different financial instruments, there's various different fundamental macro environment scenarios to sort of do analysis on, as well as all the technical analysis and that Nick does. There's an awful lot of moving parts, and I don't think people really appreciate that. There's people in the traditional finance market that have been calling shit wrong this entire time. You see people on TV. I mean, Jim Cramer, for example. I mean, when is that guy ever right? And he's been doing it an awful long time. I could list many people, but I think that should be a sign that it's not easy, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. There would be no views on YouTube because it's that easy. Everybody could do it. And I do see the likes of BitBoy saying how easy it is, and it's a rinse and repeat kind of job, but it really isn't. And anybody saying that is full of shit.
Yeah. So the Jim Cramer indicator, I think, is obviously going to turn into a bit of a meme in this space. Whenever he tells you to buy, sell. Whenever he tells you to sell it, buy it. But yeah. Don't just go on that just for full transparency. It's purely a meme. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll quickly shout back to what you're saying, everything Celsius, but obviously on Voyager as well. It's a shout out to the crypto boys here because they've been nailing everything Voyager. I think everything going on Voyager, I think that's due to wrap up kind of in and around this time. So, check them out for everything Voyager. I do like everything they are doing there. But yeah, just to touch on it, if you want to hold us accountable to what we say, and obviously we're of that nature, we will be held accountable for everything we say. The 1st of December live on this channel, if you want to check out the live that is there, we all called this scenario when a rough time for the bottom, a rough expectation for the price for the bottom. So everything is still there. You can check it out. There's nothing hidden here. So it's still live on this channel. It's still on this channel under the live section on the podcast channel. So yeah, everything that is there for you to see. There's nothing hidden.
Yeah, I mean, we've been highlighting it. I put out a video on the main Cheeky Crypto channel yesterday with all the links to the videos where I was calling all this stuff, you know, and arguments with local village idiots on Twitter about, you know, shorting the bottom at like 15.7 or something, which we never did. So you know, I was like, show me the evidence, because there isn't any. There's no way you can show me like a screenshot of me saying I'm shorting Bitcoin, because like that never happened. But I can detail fully, transparently everything that we've done and said, and continue to do so. So it's one of those. It's interesting times. I think that we're experiencing similar sort of, I guess, I want to say comments, but we'll call them engagements, where they're very similar to June. And when I say June, you know, before the bottom came in, when we were saying that, you know, to expect a new lower low, and that, you know, is kind of how I feel about the comments that are being made now. I think people aren't really looking at the bigger picture, and I just encourage people, you know, whether you choose to listen to us or not, it's completely down to yourselves. But what I would say is just make sure you have good risk management, preserve your capital, and just make sure that you're not, you know, overexposing yourself. And that goes into any sort of investment instrument, right? Not just crypto, because I think there's going to be other financial instruments where people get caught out immensely.
I've been smiling the whole time you've been talking about that there, how you shorted Bitcoin. That was it said 15,000 or something. It's literally documented. It's on Twitter as well now, highlighting the alert that comes up in the Discord. Chris bought Bitcoin at $15,801. Never shorted it, bought it. So
yeah, so
come on, guys.
Slight difference, right? Like look, I bought at 18, 17, 15. I bought higher, but you know, like the way I dollar cost average is like there's a few arguments. So let me get into how I dollar cost average, because it confuses the hell out of people when they look at my buys, because they're like, Chris is buying at 19, but he says he expects it to go down to 16. Why would you do that? Well, I like to dollar cost average on the way down. So like they start off really small. So if I have a price target in mind that I really truly believe it's going to get to that price, I might dollar cost average in at say 20, but that'd be like a really small percentage, like less than 1% of what I plan to invest in it. Yeah. And then as it goes lower, it'd be like 1%. A little bit lower, it'd be like 2%, 5%. You know, and then it's like 50% at like 15.8. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was expecting 16 around that time, not 15.8. So, you know, it went a little bit lower. I didn't catch the bottom, and it's not about catching the bottom. But, you know, like it goes up, and, you know, when it goes to more reasonable prices, I will start to dollar cost average back in. And, you know, it confuses people, because people are like, why didn't you just buy like 80% of it at 15.8? I was like, well, you know, as much as I believe the price is going to move to a certain, you know, area, that's never a guarantee, because of fundamentals and how fundamentals could change. What happens if the US dollar collapses tomorrow? Like, what does that mean for Bitcoin? Like, where are people going to put their money? Like, we can guess, we can, you know, have an educated guess, but we don't really know. Nobody does. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. It's wonderful that people can sit there that don't watch closely enough and can say to vast amounts of people that they shorted the bottom, when in actual fact they bought the bottom, at least close to it. So, you know, I think narrative is something that we've covered a little bit, and can be dangerous. It can be really, really positive, but it can also be dangerous. But there was something that I did see, just coming slightly off this topic. FTX, what's going on with them? Like
FTX is crazy.
Have they found some money down the side of the couch slash through the potentially through the government or through politicians? I speculate, of course.
Sounds like somebody's trying to keep a certain someone out of jail.
It looks like they're trying to keep several people out of jail, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, this is nuts. Obviously, I think we kind of nailed FTX very well when Nick seen everything happen with liquidations, everything going on. Again, back in the channel, you can check it all out in the main channel.
Should we get into that a little bit? How we stumbled across it? Because we look at very like a lot of different pieces of data, and it was actually on a live stream on Twitch, so you can't actually watch this anymore. For those of you that don't know, Twitch only allow the videos to be posted for like 15 days. But I think it was around the 5th of November. I could be wrong on the dates here. 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, or 5th of November, and we on the live stream would look at liquidations, and FTX stood out massively. Do you remember why, JP?
Well, they were grabbing money at every available opportunity they could.
they were liquidating an awful lot of people, and they were liquidating far more than we had ever seen a single exchange liquidate, and it stood out massively. So after that stream, I started digging a lot, and we started putting posts out in the Discord to say expect some FUD on FTX, and it might be worth shorting FTT and Solana. And that was the 6th of November that post went out, after I had been investigating it, and then it was becoming more and more like, this is bad, like looking at the transactions, the wallet transactions and stuff, and we started telling everybody to get out of FTX. Yeah.
And then off the back of that, yesterday we seen the massive jump. It was like 130% as 130% increase in the FTT token back on Binance. So Binance are allowing you to trade the FTT token again. But yeah, we're seeing that FTX are going to try and bring themselves back.
Yeah, I'm really confused. They found over $7 billion. I'm going to say down the side of the sofa, as you do, with all your very wealthy and political friends, and they're looking to restart the exchange. Now, the question that I've got for everybody watching, and I really do encourage everybody to actually comment, down below. Do you think that this is a good thing? Is the first question. And would you use the FTX exchange after all of this? Those are my two questions. I'm really interested to find out what the community feels about the relaunch of FTX.
Would you put your money back in a bank that took all your money off of you?
Yeah, never gave it back.
Yeah. You went, so why would you put it back on an exchange that never gave you, took all your money? So basically what happened here was Andy Dietrich, very hard name to say, Dietrich, of Sullivan and Cromwell at the court hearing on Wednesday, said that FTX managed to recover cash and crypto for $7.3 billion. It's so wrong. It's so wrong that this is even a question that this could be a possibility for FTX to come back. To me, it should be illegal. They should not be allowed to come back. They've wrecked so many people in this space, liquidating them unnecessarily. There's a certain very rich man in the world right now with very rich parents with some nice luxury property down in the Bahamas right now. It just feels like that this is all coming together just to try and keep this little person out of jail.
Yeah, I think that it's also potentially to keep a lot of the politicians out of jail as well. And,
yeah, I'd like to find more about that, because there's going to be so much stuff about this case that we won't ever know, and that's the unfortunate part of it. We just won't. Yeah. There's going to be some dodgy backhanders, some shirt and ties high up in certain institutions that They need him to stay with jail. They need this court case to collapse, everything to, get brushed under the proverbial rug here. But it's just so wrong. It's so bloody wrong.
It really is. And yeah, I am shocked. I'm not shocked about an awful lot of things, but I am shocked and will be shocked if FTX goes live again. And I imagine that if it does go live, it'll be okay, because there'll be so many new people coming into the space that won't have ever heard of FTX, and would have only have seen like FTX in a positive light, with like the ads and stuff at like the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So yeah, scary really. But at the same time, would you be putting your money into FTX? My thoughts are that there should be some questions. I always circle back to it. Learning from your mistakes. So are you really learning from your mistakes if you go back to FTX? And then the regulators, what are the regulators going to do? Because they failed investors, the regulators, and there needs to be change there.
It's obviously, it's not just in the US though. We're seeing the Japanese leg of FTX, FTX Japan, obviously. There was a court document published on the 10th of April stating that FTX Japan are looking to reopen out in Japan. So I think it's the 23rd. Is it the 23rd of this month that the court case is going to be, and we're going to find out everything related to FTX Japan, if it's going to reopen. But this FTX Japan collapsing was the catalyst for Japan's regulations, everything forcing down on crypto out in Japan. So would the government in Japan allow this to happen? Wrecking so many citizens and everything else that happened out there, because it was very bad. It was obviously, it's FTX related, everything was very bad. So I don't understand why it would be allowed to reopen. It'd be the same, I don't know, like Voyager and Celsius, for them to reopen as well. I just think it would be criminal for us to see this happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Should we move on to something more positive? I don't know. Let's have a look at Cardano. We've got Cardano a whale predicts Cardano bull run, his timing and likely trigger. So I'm not really too concerned about the timing, just because I think the reasoning is wrong anyway. But his ADA whale on Twitter has had an article written about them, which is wonderful. Every bull run starts with a narrative. Chris has been talking about narrative and how dangerous narrative can be. Just go watch that video on narrative if you haven't already. Last one for Cardano was the Shelly/staking. I don't really think that was the actual narrative for Cardano last time around, but we digress. We'll carry on. Next one will probably be TVL. So that's total value locked, way below previous all-time high of $3 and lower daily as ADA TVL grows. It hits 1 billion. From there, the narrative will feed on itself. I really disagree with this. I think TVL is never going to be a narrative. It's a consequence.
Yes.
A narrative could be that Chris is wonderful and Chris always gets something right, or Chris is always wrong and Chris always gets it wrong. That is a narrative. Now, TVL is a consequence of that. So a consequence of Chris getting things right all the time would be Chris gets loads of views on YouTube, right? Chris gets it wrong all the time. Chris gets no views on YouTube all the time, right? That's a consequence. That's like TVL for YouTube, playing the YouTube game, right? But like what I would say is, for me, the true narrative that will be the catalyst for Cardano, and you can let me know your thoughts and opinions on this, JB, will be artificial intelligence and machine learning. We're already seeing a lot of the projects building on Cardano, through the Singularity Net umbrella. We also believe that side chains, layer 2s, will also be a big narrative slash catalyst for the growth of TVL, the consequence of a narrative. So look, I just wanted to touch on this. We see so many articles written. This one's from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗕, which is absolute nonsense. And I thought I'd call it out
not
today.
Me today, when you said you today.
No, not 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗕. 𝗕𝗘𝗪, the news company, if that's what we want to call them. But there is another narrative. Do you want to enlighten people, JB? Another narrative that can have a positive consequence for TVL.
Yeah, before I dive into that, I'll quickly go into what you were just talking about there. So as everybody that kind of listens to whatever comes out of my mouth knows, that the two projects I'm biggest on in this space is Singularity-DAO and Cardano's 𝗓𝗓. Now, to see Cardano and the Singularity family partnering here, you know, working together, the artificial intelligence integration into Cardano, I mean, I'm sitting here a very happy man. I think it's absolutely fantastic that this is happening, but this also leads on to other partnerships that are now, you know, coming to light with Cardano. And again, it's another thing that's quite pleasing for me to see that Cardano will become a top EVM chain. And let's break into this a little bit. So a top EVM and gaming chain. So what we're seeing is that Cardano are going to be going into collaborations with 𝗕𝗪𝗪 Studios and 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. So this will allow users to be able to pay. I'm just going to read this off so I can phrase it correctly for you. Users will be able to play all blockchain-based games on other layer 1 blockchains without having to bridge their 𝗕𝗓 tokens to another network. You know, this is great for what we want here. I think it takes a lot of the use for Ethereum, the costing, everything like that is going to make it, you know, it's going to be better for us as players of these Web3 games, some Web2 games as well. It's going to be as well, isn't it? You know, all in all, I think it's absolutely fabulous that the likes of 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 and 𝗕𝗪𝗪 Studios, you know, they're looking to Cardano to help. I think I see it in a way as to help us out to make things more affordable. But you know, it's bringing everything together all around here that's showing that the use case of Cardano as a whole, you know, brilliant things. I love reading everything about that there.
Yeah, I think gaming obviously is going to be that next narrative as well. You know, you've got various different play to earn metaverse kind of games, 𝗕𝗪𝗪, cornucopias, and so forth. So I think that Cardano is really teeing itself up very nicely for the next bull run. And you know, you've got the Lace wallet, and we've touched on that on the previous podcast, other videos on the main Cheeky Crypto channel, making it easy for people, again, supporting with mass adoption, having an app store that basically, you know, verifies whether a project is legit or questionable, makes it easy for you to stay safe in the space, and so much more. Like, there's just so much you could talk about. But what I would say is we also have to look at, you know, perhaps some of the hurdles that, you know, need to be sort of I guess raised. How do you move people from other chains into the Cardano ecosystem? There is a cost for companies to move from one chain to another, and having the EVM compatibility and you know, not having to worry about the change in programming language and all that sort of stuff. These are all things that are hurdles that I think that Cardano are positioning themselves to overcome, which means it's going to be cheaper for companies to also move over. And as we see ETH, you know, burn mechanism, you know, take hold, I do think that it's going to become, you know, quite expensive for transactions on the chain. I think layer 2s are going to do really well off the back of that, but it's a reason to move over to Cardano.
Also to add to that as well, though, the security aspect of it. So what's synonymous with everything that's happened with the gaming, you're talking Axie Infinity and the Ronin bridge hack. So with you being able to directly use your 𝗕𝗓 tokens, it eliminates the risk of bridge hacks. And obviously, I think that's the biggest thing to take from this. That's going to be, in my eyes, the way I've kind of looked into it, is it's going to be more secure. You're alleviating the risk that was previously there. As I said, obviously the Ronin bridge hack, it was absolutely ridiculous amount of money that was stolen there. So for this to happen, you know, it's Yeah, very bullish in my eyes. I'm happy to see it.
Awesome. So I'm going to lead on to something, because we've talked a little bit about like how we've performed. I've just actually seen somebody in the Discord say, I made cash when you highlighted the USDC depegging. So again, there's so much stuff that we do here, like in our community, that a lot of people that just watch the YouTube channels don't get to see. So jump in the Discord, free to join. You know, the Patreon membership, like you could potentially and historically pay an entire month or an entire year's worth of you know, membership fee off just with one airdrop.
Yeah,
we've seen that, right? And you know, various other trades and all that stuff that we do, right? Super priced, you know, for everyday people to be able to get involved. But you know, this person's made money off of USDC depegging. How did that person make money? Well, I put buy alerts to say I was aping into USDC. I made a nice little 9% profit when it got back to peg. So, you know, there's all these things, and it's great to say, you know, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. But would you have had the balls to just, as an influencer, if you are an influencer, would you have had the balls to do that publicly and put your money where your mouth is? Because that's what you get from us. Like, you know, we might go against the narrative and you know, do things slightly differently, but you know, we get results, and I think that speaks volumes. But we thought it would be great to basically highlight a NFT airdrop for everybody. Now, obviously, it's up to you whether you participate in this. I believe that it's going to be on the Cardano ecosystem. There is going to be some great utility for this NFT, but I'm under NDA, so I can't really say too much. It's a free mint, so you know, it's absolutely free for you to participate in it. I personally know the team. They will go public, but they're not public at the moment. It's kind of an underground movement, you know, rebel against boring old ideas, and didn't, you know, come to sit here quietly. We came here to riot, and this is 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗕. You can go follow those guys on Twitter. I think this is going to be something pretty special. So yeah, go to Twitter, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗕, and make sure that you're giving them a follow. Saturday, you will have the NFT free mint. I believe that it's going to be limited, so you want to be prepared. If you want to find out more about the free NFT mint, jump down into our Discord and ask away. We'll keep everybody up to date on this one. The last NFT mint that I personally highlighted, you could have got absolutely for free, and you would have made a minimum of $600 if you had sold on the first day after mint.
Yeah, that was for the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗪 dragon eggs from Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah,
I've managed to pick one up in the secondary. I never got one during the halftime show.
Yeah, I'm the same. I got one on the secondary. So I was one of those people that basically got sold to. But what I would say is that would have paid more than 1 year's membership for the Discord, and you would have had some change for a lovely meal out. So look, there's a reason why we're talking quite a lot in our Patreon member section about airdrops, because the potential is huge. And like I say, I personally know the team on this one, although they're not public just yet. You know, I really do trust this team.
Yeah, so obviously the airdrops as well. We've seen the one with Binance for the Easter egg hunt. I've been playing that myself as well, but like, there's a few Asian names at the top of the leaderboard, and they're like 6,000 eggs ahead of, or points collective ahead of where we are. So I think that's obviously quite a good one to get in on. There's some mega returns from there. So yeah, plenty of opportunities here. As we said, like you can physically make a living off of airdrops. There's plenty of people that do already do this, so it's definitely worth keeping your eye out. Not every airdrop's going to be great. Not every airdrop you're going to be able to get in on. But if you can just jump on an airdrop that's absolutely free and you're making money off it, you know, why would you not?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, we have the the airdrops highlighted for members, for our Patreon members. We have project reviews and ratings. We get 3 of those a week. Like I say, over 350 project reviews and ratings done in the last year or so. We've
One
got
other thing I want to cut off here as well. The weekly quiz in the Discord, yourself and Gemma need a big shout out for you. You've been absolutely nailing it with these quizzes. They're fantastic. But we need more of you to jump into these quizzes. We need someone to take down 𝗕𝗪𝗠𝗏. The guy has won it far too many times. Yeah, jump down on Wednesdays. Jump into there, jump into the quiz. A lot of fun. It's all it's for. It's fun. There has been prizes here as well. It's come join us down here on Sunday. Take down 𝗕𝗪𝗠𝗏. The guy needs to stop winning.
He definitely needs to stop winning. We definitely need some new people in the quiz for sure. We do crypto quizzes, all sorts of different quizzes, some like Easter ones, Christmas ones, New Year ones, and all that sort of stuff. So definitely worth checking those out. Good fun and great to engage with the community. We have 2 weekly AMAs, frequent AMAs, I will add. With Nick and myself, where you can ask us anything. TA on request for our trader members, and we have the introduction of the AI bot as well. Basically identifying trade opportunities for our trader tier, and we have the trader elite section now with loads going on, our personal trades and all that sort of wonderful stuff. So how do you access trader elite? You become a trader member, and then you just basically sign up through our affiliate link for BitGet or Bybit, and you get the additional access. So yeah, it's pretty simple steps.
It's good. The Discord's absolutely popping right now. The interaction with all the members up in trade. I'm not just going to highlight traders, so I'm going to highlight the whole Discord into the members chat, and that chat's always popping. There's a lot of great ideas in there. Everybody, throwing ideas between each other down in members chat. In general chat, there's seeing a lot of new faces down there as well. So we can only encourage you guys, obviously, move yourself up in the tiers, and more of the Discord will be opened up to you. I think it's absolutely just such a special place right now. The numbers, the numbers we're seeing coming into the channel as well. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think the thing to highlight is it is more than just like a place to get trades. It's more than just getting airdrops highlighted to you. It's a community of investors looking to support one another to become financially free. And I think that's really important. It's about building generational level wealth. It's about leaning on each other's experiences and learnings. It's about making sure that you don't get caught out with scams. Asking one of the community, have you come across this? It seems too good to be true. Because you know what, like, people will tell you right now that's a scam. Stay away from it. Like, the amount of money that you will save just from that alone is worth every penny.
I mean, no question's a dumb question, and we really do mean it when we say that. So obviously we've seen the other day there was issues with, like, somebody had a problem with the ledger. Now, at the time, I think the majority of us over in the UK were sleeping when the question was asked. So they had the community jumped in here and kind of walked them through some of the possible solutions. It turned out there wasn't actually an issue. It was just a bit of a delay with it updating. But it's neither here nor there. It's the fact that the community are willing to help each other. It is a safe space. The security to get into that Discord is, I know a lot of people will know that the security is super tight in there. It can be a bit difficult to get into. We do understand that, but that's there for a reason. It stops bot invasions and the unwanted entering the Discord. So it is a nice safe space for everyone.
Yeah, and there's an awful lot of work that goes into everything that we're doing, right? Like, there isn't just one thing. There's a number of different things. The alerts for things in the trader section that might move the market. these are the things that, you might be getting into a trade and a TA looks really good, but something fundamentally has just been shared in the media, or there's an event coming up. And actually, I want to make sure I know about that event, because if I'm about to get into a trade, but then they're going to introduce staking, that might change the outcome of my trade. So there's lots of different things going on. There's areas where people can share their open trades and they can talk about it with the community, and people in the community can ask questions around that trade, and all sorts of different things going on there. So lots of opportunity, lots of education with the shorts, showing signals and patterns and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, look, why do we talk about it a lot? Because we're passionate about supporting the community be successful in this space, and that is the only reason.
Well, the mantra's there in place. It's never changed. It's to help build generational level wealth, and it's exactly what the intention is here, that we want to see everybody prevail in this space. Financial freedom, I think, is something that every single person wants. Everyone, to an extent, deserves. So we've got a great community here working together to try and make this succeed.
Yeah, and I want to be really clear. We're not financial advisors, and we're not giving financial advice. All we're doing is sharing what we're doing in the space. We're, putting ideas out for people to explore, and we encourage everybody to do their own research and, not just ape in to different projects just because we talk about it and stuff like that. But the stuff that we're sharing, our ideas, our movements in this space, it screams loud and clear that we've been very accurate for the last year or so. So I wanted to kind of just share more than we usually share, talk about it openly. We have a transparency report in our Discord that details any paid promotions or anything like that we do. We don't do paid video content. We have channel sponsors and affiliate links, and you can see all of those details in our Discord. We're not hiding anything. We share openly all of the stuff that we're doing in this space. And I want to be really clear, no one, including ourselves, will be right 100% of the time. Not all trades will be successful, but with good risk management and a good approach and a long-term mindset, you're setting yourself up for success, and you'll be I guess right more than you will be wrong. But you've got to have the principles as a base layer in in this financial space, as well as investing in other financial instruments.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've pulled this out quite a bit here, guys. I think now would be a good time to wrap up. So I will leave you the same as I always will leave you. If you are going to be trading, please do trade nice and safely. Have a nice tight stop loss. Make great gains, staying safe in the space. Perhaps see you later on tonight for some Call of Duty. We've been streaming that again. So obviously we're going to see more of this. But yeah, guys, please do take care. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. See you next time out.
Yeah, super. And I'll echo everything JB said. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Smash up that like button, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.